Hi everybody, so it's Friday 23rd of June. We've had a whole day of since the Bank of England pushed the base rate up to 5%, which means borrowing rate have gone up. Um, I'm gonna share with you some information that I've had kind of checked with my advisors and brokers based on how we move forward with our business, because ultimately we still have to trade, we still have to make a business out of our property. So in essence, what I'm looking at is basically the difference between what was happening 3.75 versus now at 6% borrowing. How much do I need to borrow? How much is it going to cost me? What's the stress that's going to be like? And are we still going to be able to have a business that we can still run, but of albeit that instead of making £500-600 a month, you're making £200 or £300 a month residual income. So I'll take an example. Before a £250,000 purchase, I would have remortgaged at 75%, which is 187,500. That would have cost me, actually, I need to rejig these figures, but in essence, I would have probably been making around £700 residual income on the property, because the rent would have been 1,300, interest only would have been around 585. So there would have been quite a decent profit margin. The same property now at 250,000 purchase, 187 borrowing, which is 75%. The lenders now increasing the arrangement fee at 5%, so they can then make that kind of the same amount of money. So they will still give you a lending at 5.7 instead of 6% or 6.7%, but instead of charging you a percent extra, they will add the in terms of arrangement fee. So you're in this case, we're using 5.7, rounding around 6%, with a 5% arrangement fee from the borrowers for a buy-to-let limited company mortgage. So if you borrow 187 on a purchase of 250, it will cost you 11,000. I'm rounding 11,000 per year, 937 per month. Your stress test. So how much do you need to rent the property so that you can get this £187,000 mortgage? Based on what you're paying on interest only, which is 937. So you need to make £1,100 rent to borrow 937 per month, and that's your stress test. So 125% of the mortgage, especially if it's a 5-year fixed rate. So in this case, on average, where I'm renting, the rent will be £1,300. We will get the 937 to pay out for interest only. That will yield a £363 gross profit. That's before management and kind of fixing the property if there's anything that goes wrong, which is quite frankly still doable. I talk about £300-400 on average. In the good old days, I used to look at £300-400 as my minimum. We are in not such good old days, and I'm probably likely to get 363, which is still very, very doable. Is it a case of not buying or buying and still making 363? I'd buy. So that's just do recap: 250 purchase, 187 borrowing, 5% arrangement fee, 6% interest rates. The monthly payment will be 937. The rent will be 1,300, and we will make a profit of around 363 per month. A second property I've just bought that I'm looking to refinance. It was I bought at 400 and no 300 325. So if I refinance, I mean, it was below market value, so I'll probably refinance around 400 to borrow 300,000, which is 75% of the 400. So at a refinance property at 300,000, borrowing 225, 5% arrangement fee, £1,100 interest only mortgage. The rent is £1,700, and the minimum I need to make to borrow that amount of money, which is 225,000, is £1,400, but I'm making £1,700. So the income, gross income that I will make on that one, which is 575, which is much higher than my limit will be. So again, I'd buy that. So the point of the matter here, I'm trying to say is, yes, we are at 6% interest rate, but you really need to fight to buy the right property at the right price. If you buy the property at the right price, you borrow less, or you pay less, you borrow less, and ultimately the property is much more affordable. Firstly, secondly, what you are paying less in property price, you can compensate for the high increase in interest rate. So ultimately, you know what, it kind of equals itself out. As long as you're fighting hard to get the right property at the right price, I will not stop buying. And in fact, actually, what I'll be doing now is after this analysis, I'll be going out and looking for much more properties, and especially um, if you're not too bothered about what you're buying, as long as you're buying the right price bracket, it's not so bad. Having said that, I'm going to do another analysis around the top end of the market, the 600, 800, £1 million worth of borrowing, and then I will post again on those more expensive property price to see whether they also still stack up, or my gut tells me that they probably won't, purely because the rent is not going to be almost double or triple as to what you're borrowing. So I hope that helps, and if you've got any questions, let me know.